Welcome to Land House. I'm Seth. This is the BougeRV 100 watt monocrystalline solar panel. Let's do an unboxing real quick, put this in the sun and see how well it performs. I wanted to go ahead and do an unboxing for you because, spoiler alert, I've already unboxed it once and the packaging material is kind of nice the way they've packaged the corners here. All right, so let me just pop this box open and then I'm going to slide the panel out and I'll show you the minimalistic packaging, yet very effective. So they've got these custom-made foam corners which really protect this during shipping. It's really nice. All right, and that's on all four corners. And then to protect the glass itself, there is a piece of really thick cardboard up under here. You can see that right there. So anyway, I just thought it was really nice the way they had done that. Just minimal packaging, because I've seen these things before packaged with all kinds of stuff that you have to end up throwing away. So that's really nice. Instruction booklet right there. We'll go over that. And it's got the cables with MC4 adapters right here on the end. And then we flip this over so you can get a closer look of this panel. So this is the monocrystalline 100 watt BougeRV solar panel. It's very well made. It's got an aluminum frame and you can see all of the connections are just made perfectly in there with that nice glass surface on top. It's got the BougeRV logo right there on the top. And let's zoom in here so you can see things a bit more clearly. The aluminum frame of this panel is thicker than some of the others I've seen, but it definitely gives you plenty of room to work with as far as getting your nuts and bolts up underneath. Let's take a look at the specs for the BougeRV model type BJ100W-B064. The maximum power is 100 watts plus or minus 3%. Max power voltage is 18.15 plus or minus 3%. The max power current is 5.1 plus or minus 3% amp. Open circuit voltage 21.4. The short circuit current is 6.11 amp. The max system voltage is 1000 volts DC. And the application class is a class A. Operating temperature -40 to positive 180 degrees. This solar panel does come with the MC4 connectors and a 3-foot cable coming out of the back of the solar panel. It has your typical oval-shaped 4 different holes for mounting. It also has ground option on both sides of the panel, as you can see right there. It's a nice clear day out today, so I want to connect this solar panel to the BougeRV MPPT solar charge controller and then connect it to a lithium iron phosphate battery and also do an AGM as well and charge those up, and we can see the watts going into the battery. I've also got a little meter that we can also compare. So first of all, I'm just going to connect the MC4 to some long wire that I've got so we can have us in the shade and the panel over in the sun. First of all, I've got the BougeRV MPPT solar charge controller. If you want to watch a review on this, I'll have a link in the description down below. So I want to have my DROC meter here go onto the positive of my battery, and that's going to allow us to use this meter and be able to use the meter here on the charge controller to determine our values. So we go ahead and get these connected real quick. I now have the battery hooked up to this charge controller. I've got 12.9 volts right here on this one. Up here it says 12.7 volts, and I'm going to use a voltmeter real quick to see what it shows here on this one. 12.7. All right, so we'll go with the 12.7 that's on this display here. Now that I have the charge controller set up to a battery, I'm going to connect this solar panel. And the instruction booklet says the recommended procedure is to do the solar panel positive first and then lastly the solar panel negative. Now because I don't have this turned into the sun, I don't think it matters, but we'll go ahead and follow that step. Okay, positive is all the way out over here. I want to Get my charge controller wound down some. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and move this panel into the sun. The remote meter now says lithium for the battery type. Let's scroll through here and find the watts that are going up here. 4.62 amps, 63 watts currently. If we go down here to this meter, we've got 63.2 watts going in. Very nice. So let's go ahead and see if we can angle this panel up into the sun a bit more and get some more power. Using this box might be a little bit too much. Let's see what happens here. Moved up to 75 watts on that one. Up here we've got 76 watts. Not quite where we want it yet. I moved the panel around for a while to try and find the best angle into the sun. As you can see up here, it's a very clear day, except for a couple of little clouds over there. And the highest value I've seen so far is 76 on the watts here. So we got 72.8 and then 72. So these meters are definitely close. And so that is a good sign. Let me go ahead and swap over to the AGM battery and we will see if we get a higher input on that battery that's really low. Okay, 65.7 watts going in on that one. Let's click over here. We've got 63 on that one. Well, not seeing the amount of watts that I had anticipated to go in here. I was hoping to see this thing hitting somewhere around, I don't know, 90. That would be good. I have the currently the BougeRV set up. We come over here. Everything is running. We got 65.7 or 63 watts. Let's go ahead and disconnect that panel and replace it with the Newpowa and see what the comparison is like in the exact same setup. I disconnected the solar panel from the charge controller up there. I'm going to do it again right here. And for consistency, I'm going to try to keep the exact same angle and maybe even just put this other panel on top of this one. Now, of course, this time of year, the sun's moving pretty quick, so I'm going to try to just get this set up as fast as I can so we can see if we have the same value here. All right, that one there. Okay, let me plug this back up to the charge controller. I'm going to pull this. There's a few blades of grass blocking the panel. I'll have to push down there, but let's see what we got over here. It takes a moment for that charge controller to kick on with the new solar. Same angle. We've got 74.8 and 74 right there. So it looks like this panel is doing about the same, a little bit higher perhaps. Let me once again disconnect that one and hook up the other one to see if we can see a change here. Okay, just did the swap over. Let's see what this goes up to here. 66 watts, 67 watts. So yeah, it looks like the BougeRV is not performing quite as well as the Newpowa. I'm going to keep the camera rolling here so you can keep track of that watt value. And I'm going to replace this other one again. And we'll see real quickly if we go anywhere above 67 or 66 watts here. I'm going to lay the panel back in the same position as the other one. There we go. Okay, so 64, 67. All right, so now it's showing about the same as the other one. All right, looks like the two panels are performing the same here. I was kind of anticipating a little bit more watts coming in from this panel. The highest I've seen is 75. Now it is late in the year, and I'm not exactly sure. It's also 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm running this test in mid-September. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, so the sun is already pretty low. 75 watts is the highest value I saw on the BougeRV panel. It's rated for 100 watts, so 75 isn't exactly where I was hoping to see. I may need to step back out here midday, like 11:30 or 12 o'clock, to get this value again. Now, the Newpowa also had the same exact values, which helps to tell me that it's just the time of year and day that I'm testing this out. So hopefully, if you were using this, say, in the earlier part of the year, you would definitely see full watts on this. But let me step back out tomorrow and see if I can get a little bit higher value on this panel. Now, the open circuit voltage of the BougeRV is 21.4 volts. Let's go ahead and see what my reading is here on the voltmeter. Got 21.09, so it is showing really close to spec. We actually have a second totally clear day this week, which is highly uncharacteristic for the mountains. So I have got another battery here that I know is needing a charge, and it's 11:30 in the morning, so let's go ahead and plug things up. Now, I'm not going to use that Drock meter again because the BougeRV controllers seem to be really close to the watt value that the other one had. So, all right, let's go ahead and position the panel in the sun. We'll do the BougeRV first, and then the Newpowa in comparison after that. Okay, just like before, I've got the charge controller set up here. Go ahead and get this plugged up to the battery before we hook up the solar. Got that. This battery is right between 12.6 and 12.7 volts, so definitely needs to have a charge on it. Now that I have the battery connected to the charge controller, we can work on this panel here. So we've got the positive will be our next one to attach. And then the negative here on the panel is the last one. I brought this board down here. Maybe I can use it as a stand to kind of get this into the best position into the sun. So we're about right there. And let's see if I can find a good spot here. Okay, let's scroll through here. 18.5 volt, 12.8, 5.42 amps, 71 watts. Man, I'd like to see that hit closer to the 90. I've moved the BougeRV panel around a bit and never did get it to go above about 72 here on the input watts. It's running at about 68 or 70 right now, which is not what I was hoping to see. I've used another BougeRV panel before that was 180 watts, and that thing got way up there, like 165, something like that. So not exactly sure what's going on with this one. All right. Well, let's swap it over to the Newpowa and see if we get any different results. Okay, got that back up on the Newpowa. And let's angle this thing down once again into the sun. Okay, it's pretty much the same angle there. Make sure the grass is off of this one too. All right, let this thing ramp up here. Okay, let's see what we're getting here. 75 watts, so a little bit better than the other one by just a couple of watts. Definitely not the 85 to 90 I was anticipating to see here in really direct sun. 12.9, that's good. Panel's got 17.9, 5.6 amps, 76 watts. I'm gonna let this panel sit for about 10 minutes to hopefully let that MPPT charge controller find its perfect spot. and then we'll come back and see what the watts are, and I'll swap it back out for the BougeRV and let it also sit for about 10 minutes, 10 or 15, and we'll see if it has found where it needs to be and improves the input here, because I'd like to see this 100-watt panel be a little bit closer to 100 watts. Okay, Newpowa is sitting here for about 10 minutes. I wanted to see if there's any change here. Looks like we are at 75 watts, so still right at the same. And I think we are pretty well into the sun. I mean, I could maybe turn it this way just a touch, but I can't see that being enough to do much. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. It's still 75. So, all right. So 75 seems to be our number on this panel. Just hit 12 minutes on the BougeRV. Should be more than enough to let this thing warm up in the sun. And we're getting 70 watts, 69. So we are not getting what I was anticipating here. I mean, we are angled right into the sun there, which I'm sure you want to look at. But yeah, so the Newpowa actually seems to be putting out a little bit more wattage in this same setup. Was not anticipating that from this panel. I believe that's all I want to show on the 100-watt BougeRV solar panel. Now, I have used the same charge controller on the BougeRV 180-watt panel, and that got up real close to spec. So I know that this charge controller works fine. But so showing this 100-watt BougeRV next to the Newpowa, they were both real close to the same watts. So I think that's just what these panels are going to be producing. If you want to look at this panel, I've got a link in the description down below so you can learn some more information. I'll also have a link to this charge controller from BougeRV so you can look at that too. I've used this one for a while and have one over in my other building, and it has worked out really well. So, all right, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.